So what can we do to make this team better? I know we talked about the cons and pros of a player, but what do we need to make this? What we need to do to make this team better?
I mean, to me, I just feel like we just need to be consistent, man, but not consistently like mediocre or average. I mean, it starts from the top. I don't really know, Law. I just feel like we have this talent. This is it's been a while. We built this talent, since 2010, and I will give Garrett his props. He did build this team the way you want it to be built as far as the offensive line. He has structure, so I cannot dog him on that. He has structure. He has built a good team. I mean, we are a team that can contend every year for playoffs and Super Bowl. We have a type of team we can contend every year now. I think the problem is now is we have to take it to the next level as far as our coaching, the players. We got to get serious. And that's where it comes back to me with Charles Haley saying Jerry built a house with a bunch of damn losers. It's the truth. And when he's talking about the mentality, when he listen what Haley says, he was saying the truest stuff in the world. He's saying teams don't fear you. He said it. Teams ain't scared of y'all. Ain't nobody scared of the Dallas Cowboys. And see, that's the problem. Cowboys think people are scared of them. No, they're not. Nobody's scared of y'all. Okay, so get that mentality out your head and start coming in. He said guys were doing gassers and they're getting gassed after 20 and 30 yards. He's saying they're coming back from next year after 13 and 3. He said our teams worked harder. When we had that loss, we would have came back harder. He said this team came in like, yeah, we're just going to do what we did last year. And it was true. If you looked at our team, it just really looked like we came in like we were just going to do the same thing. And it wasn't true. It's like we got to get the mentality up in that building that, look, we ain't them same Cowboys no more. We like everybody else. So we need to act like everybody else and grind hard and stop thinking we just the Cowboys and we going to walk in there and teams going to lay down on us. It's not happening. This ain't them 90s no more. We need to show and prove.
Show and prove. So, Darreck, do you have like any stats or any records showing what our records are after a winning season? Do you have any of those numbers there?
I can pull them up real quick, but I know I mentioned this, I think, last time we were on. I think it's like 2008, 2009, I think, was our last time to have, I think it was either 10-win seasons or just winning seasons back to back. So we've been hot, cold, and it seems to always be an even numbered year that we do something. So let me pull that up and I'll get back with you on a sec for that.
I mean, doesn't it almost seem, Law, that when every year that if we have a good year, that just like I was saying, the trend says with Garrett that this year that he's going to have a good year. So that's where I get kind of worried, because it's like if you have the good year and we fail again in the playoffs, are you going to get an extension because you made the playoffs again and you had a positive record? And that's going to be 3 years of positivity records, and people are up top are going to look at that and give you an excuse.
Well, that's going to be one of the things. I think I saw somewhere out there that we had the 15th top, or I guess 15th hardest ranked schedule. So hopefully from there, we probably win more games just off of the strength of schedule alone. So if you're talking about Jason Garrett putting his team in the right position for this year, I'm predicting, and I just hate to say this, but it may just be another 12-4, 13-3 type of year. Believe it or not, I'm saying it first.
I feel it.
It's just one of those things.
We're going to bounce back.
Jason Garrett on even years got a spectacular record, So it's just one of those things.
Cowboys haven't had back-to-back 10-win seasons since the 90s. And as far as just back-to-back winning seasons, they had 05 to 09, where they went from 05 forward. They went 9-7, 9-7, 13-3, 9-7, and 11-5. So that's the last time that they put together a streak of consecutive, technically winning seasons. But if you want to talk about 10-win seasons back-to-back, then we're looking mid-90s.
Mid-90s. My God.
95, 96.
But I mean, what's been our mantra is just like something always happens to us. Just like when you were talking about, Law, when you was like, when we sign a contract, it seems like somebody always gets hurt. I feel like, man, are we cursed right now, man? Like, are we cursed right now? Because it seems like always something happened to us. We get a nice lead and some of our team comes back on us. Like, I don't want to see that anymore. I'm tired of our team having this talent. And this was another year where we should have did something, not to limit on it, but this was a year where I felt like this was our year just as good as anybody else's year. And even 2018 is our year is just as good as anybody else's because we can beat any team in the NFL. We have the talent to beat any team in the NFL. And I feel like it's time for us to go in there and not just do it against these regular teams, do it against these tough teams and dominate them, not just always waiting until the fourth quarter on the edge of our seats, biting on our nails. Are we going to pull this out? It's got to be sometimes where we could just coming in and finally getting our mantra that we had. If Jason Garrett had that mindset of building them teams from the 90s, then get that mindset that he had in them 90s, and let's go in there and beat these teams like we're supposed to and not lose games that we're not supposed to lose.
Well, that's what I thought about. If we just figure out a way, we top 8 in defense. If we can just get around to like 2 or 3, right, overall in defense, and we know that this running attack with Ezekiel, if he can stay off the field, troubles off the field, and just stay focused on football this year and try to get back to the tops, then the problem that a lot of people are lamenting about or saying about the Dak Prescott can't throw the ball and this stuff, I'll give you that. I give them that little small, critique. But if we run this ball and we have a top 5, top 3 defense, then we should make it at least deep into the playoff. And then we need to have some way, somehow, Jason. I'm seeing a lot of people put Jason. A lot of people saying Jason Carrot. They're not saying Jason Carrot. They said Jason Carrot. Whoever coined that phrase, shout out and salute to you. I forgot what your name is. Jason Carrot. But what they're saying is his adjustment, whenever he comes to that point, he just have to play. He have to coach his best of the best football, or we have to make 0 mistakes. And we have to figure out a way to get to the Super Bowl. I know I hate to say the Super Bowl when we have yet to play a game yet this season. But I'm still optimistic about this 2018 season because, for one, it's an even year. For two, we got to show some way, somehow, to pull something out. We just can't just be America's team, just being this 8-8, 8-8 feel. Although we didn't go 8-8 last year, we went 9-7, which we should have went 8-8. Because if we fool around and get a horrible draft pick with this pick, I'm really gonna look at that Eagles game differently.
Yo, I just want us to get back to the NFC Championship, man. I'll take that. I mean, we hadn't been there since what, 95 either. So yeah, same deal. I just want to get to that point. It's been 20 plus seasons just to get there, let alone to the Super Bowl.
But Darreck, I'm greedy, man. I'm greedy, man. I want to get all the way to the Super Bowl and win it.
I wouldn't say no to that.
Yes,
it's I feel like, it's time. Cowboys fans are hungry, and I'm tired of hearing these other fans and just talking this trash to me and running their mouths. I'm tired of hearing them I can't even argue with nobody anymore because the first thing that come out their mouth is 20 years. That's the first thing that come out their mouth. They don't say nothing else to me. They just say 20 years, and there's nothing I can say back.
Nothing we
like
can
real talk. Like there's nothing I can say back. What can I really say back? What? Oh, we was 13-3 in 2016. Oh, we won 2 NFC East championships, and they're gonna say, "What'd you do in the playoffs?"
You can ask them. You can always ask them if our championships were so long ago. How come they haven't caught up yet?
I feel you. But like Law said, I'm greedy now. I'm the type of guy that, okay, we have them 5 championships, but you know what? I coached for a long time too, and as a coach, you can look back and say, as a coach, yeah, I won a championship 5 years ago, but I'm not feeling good about them championships I won 5 years ago. And if I'm not doing nothing right now, what I did 5 years ago, I'm in my own head questioning because everybody's going to be looking at me. Yeah, you got them championships, but then it's every year you got to reinvent yourself. Every year as a coach, you have to reinvent yourself. You can't just come out the same way every year. What you did last year and you were successful at, you still got to go in that lab and change up everything because now you're the hunted. Everybody's gunning for you. And the fact that we're the Dallas Cowboys, we're already getting gunned for. So now if we have winning records or are running through teams are definitely ready. So we always have to have the mentality of getting better and always want to learn and change up things and not be the same way, because you can never be the same way because people will figure you out quickly, as you saw.
Yeah, you preaching to me now. So shout out to Italian Cowboys for coining the phrase. Jason Carrot.
Tell them to make that. Tell them to make
Jason
a meme.
Somebody make some T-shirts. Make some memes out there.
Make that carrot top right there, boy. I'll buy that T-shirt all day.
But the thing is with this, we forgot to talk about this, and we kind of glossed over it. Or let's say, for instance, we do sign D-Law. What's the ramification? What money do we have left? Because I'm tired of this measly little $19 million that we have. So if we sign him up, what we have left to play? What's next in our bank? You know, who can go out and talk? Darreck, what we got, man?
Repeat that last part. Sorry.
So
I was trying to look up something for us.
Yeah. The thing is, if we sign the ramification of signing D-Law, you know, what will we have left in the bank?
If they franchise,
right now
we franchise.
Yeah,
franchise them, you know.
I mean, that's still pretty much all our cap room right now. Talking about this offseason, I think we have like 17.8, I want to say. And franchising would be right about 17, I believe. So, I mean, as it stands right now, that would pretty much be your moves, I think.
Somebody put in there $2 million.
Because then they've been talking about restructuring Travis Frederick's deal. Because he just signed that deal, and Dallas is good for restructuring. They definitely said they didn't want to touch Tyron Smith because of his back, and you don't want to restructure him because you don't know if he's going to play. You can restructure Deb, but I don't know if they want to do that because of what can happen. You know, they could still cut him, which I don't think it can happen, but you can save money there. They said Benson Mayoa, who I don't think needs to really come back for us. You can cut him. That's going to save money on the cap. Orlando Scandrick, if you cut him or maybe get some a trade, you can get some money freed up that way. And I said, you know, I'm not beating up the Cole Beasley thing, but I still feel like we need to get something for him. I feel like we need to do something with that and get some capital back from him.
Man, we don't wheel and deal, man. We don't wheel and deal out of Texas.
That's what we need to.
That's when wheel and deal,
so
man.
That's when you talking about law. When you was mentioning Bill Belichick and those guys wheel and deal every year. They're coming in with that mindset. We wheeling and dealing. We trying to make this stuff happen.
Because Robert Kraft ain't out there talking about, man, I really love this guy. You know.
He said about Tom Brady now.
Well, you can say that about Tom Brady now. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. You know what I mean? So that's the problem with us all together collectively. We get this situation with we need more money, and then if I mention this, if I start talking about, hey, what about if we get rid of Dez? I'm gonna have 1,000 hate mails in the mailbox before I can even wake up in the morning. So it's the problem with that. You know, I know for sure. I can tell you right now one thing from this. Bill Belichick or Bill Belichick, however you want to call him, he's not paying Dez. He's not gonna pay him. He's not gonna pay old Reliable. He's not gonna pay that man no money. He would have been got rid of Scandrick. Come on now. But we want to win Super Bowls. But we sitting here looking at what other teams are doing, and then I have somebody smart and come up with all type of statistics and stats showing that why we trying to be like a other team? Why not try to be like the teams that's winning Super Bowl? I'm greedy. I'm hungry. I want to win right now. And you guys can tell right now I'm getting elevated and I'm getting mad about this situation because I'm tired of being mediocre. I'm tired of us doing the same old thing over and over and over again, and we not getting the results. Guys, let me just calm down.
Go ahead.
I'm about to rile up around here, boy. You just don't know.
What you're saying is true. I mean, that's why I'm frustrated. I'm mad as hell. I'm mad as hell because I'm tired of seeing teams that I don't feel like are better than us are going to Super Bowls and winning Super Bowls. And I'm looking at the Eagles. Yeah, they were good, but we could beat y'all. Y'all ain't that tough or that sweet that y'all can't beat. Y'all ain't one of these dominant teams that everybody's going to look at the Eagles next year. They're the most dominant team in the NFL. No, they're not. The Eagles are not the most dominant team, and there's nowhere even close to that. They're a good team like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? You got lucky you didn't get to play them Saints because I feel like Drew Brees would have ran up in you and got you. So you're really not that scary, and I'm tired of us, like you said, Law, being mediocre. We have the team to win now, and I told you, I'm tired of wasting years on good players like Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. Them years go quick, and a year in football to me is like 4 years, dog years. You add years quicker. So you have to win now when they're young and cheap, because those guys, when they get older and the contracts come up, it's harder to keep your team together with the salary cap.
True.
It's just one of those things. The salary cap era is just horrible, man, for us. That's just the bottom line. It's just the salary cap era. It's one of those things. Could we fall in love with players?
Yeah, well, like you said, we just love Jason.
Yes, indeed, man. So that's just one of the things, man. I just had to get that little, I guess, thing off my mind when we talking about how can we improve this team? What direction do we need to go? And this draft, since we're gonna be left with $2 million, shout out to I think Cowboys legend 27 said we'll be left with $2 million. Those funky $2 million, we got to figure out something. You know, if we're gonna build this team through the draft, then how much faith we're gonna have on this draft selection? I do know that my guy,
hit on it right.
I know he's been hitting on the players, but it's just one of those things where we losing so much money right now with Randy Gregory not being able to play, right? We're losing so much money with that. And then the growth and the development part of Taco, if he don't show up next year, then it's going to be one of those things where we're going to say, hey, what if he's like D-Law? What if this third year he's going to just really blossom to this guy, you know? So we got to figure out a way to really hit on these guys coming up this draft. And whether it be defense, whether it be offense, I'm leaning more towards defense coming with the 19th overall pick. But if we don't hit on this defensive guy to solidify this defense to get us at least to like top 2, top 3, I'm just going to really just explode, you know.
So this is going to be the first year that Gregory's contract has a little bit of weight behind it. Previous seasons, 2015, $693,000, 2016, $365,000, 2017, $258,000. This year, it's $1,213,000. So his deal, it's definitely lost because you're getting nothing out of it, obviously, but it's not like a backbreaker, essentially.
Well, you know, and I've heard a few. I was on Twitter. You know, I'm on Twitter every day, but I think a week ago, I wish I could pull it up, but I saw where they said he was working really hard to really start to get, put that ball forward as far as the reinstatement. So I really want to see, you know, what happened with that. I think it may be coming up soon with the reinstatement. I think if he can really get reinstated, I think Cowboy world will be excited. So, you know, it's funny how everybody talks about Randy Gregory and hates on him, but I bet you what, I guarantee you what, all them people that said cut him, and he comes in there next year and is able to play and let's come balls out, gets like 11 sacks. All them people that said that trash about him ain't gonna say nothing.
Well, you're right. We ain't gonna say nothing, but it's the same thing about he gonna hush. He gonna hush us, but
yeah, you'll have half the people saying, "I knew he had it in him. He had it all the time.
Right. I know he was there all the time.
I was always in his corner."
And then somebody gonna still say, "Man, that man high."
Black lips.
Yeah, the black lips. That's why I be scared about Zeke. I was like, Zeke.
I say Red Gray. I said, man, he getting high, man.
He look like he high, man.
He look like he high.
That was a $600,000 blunt, man. He rolled,
man. Like, wow.
Man, he loved that blunt, man. And it's just one of those things where we sitting back saying, okay, we see the potential. We looked at his tape from Nebraska. We saw what he could do.
Nasty.
And then they drafted a guy that was with him, Collins, you know. So we know what them two can do, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to get this on this next level, you know.
I mean, think about it, Law, when we drafted him. You remember when we saw him in the preseason, how good he looked? Like, okay, he had that get off, and even that Giants game before he got hurt and he had that ankle injury, he was out like 6 games his rookie year. That first game, he was all in that backfield after Eli. He didn't get any sacks, but he was putting pressure. He was in that backfield, and you were excited. And when I heard that he got hurt after that first game, man, I went in depressed mode because, number one, I was worried about him falling off because now you got too much time on your hands. You got 6 games where you ain't doing nothing. If you're playing football every day, maybe it keeps your mind off of slipping and falling. But now you got all that time to rehab, and maybe you get depressed because you're not playing. It's easy to fall into that.
Look, man, let me tell you this right now, man. When he had to hit his ankle sprain or what have you, I said, Lord, please don't let it be a high ankle sprain. Don't let it be a high ankle sprain.
Right.
And then when it's a high ankle sprain, I knew how many weeks it was gonna be. I said, he finna smoke a blunt, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, he finna roll one.
I was like, his season over. His season over.
He finna smoke one. He finna fire up that J because I already knew that he was gonna do it. I sitting there saying like, I know, because he played pretty well that Giants game. He was flying there. I was like, man, that's gonna be us, man.
Yes.
And I was thinking, I was like,
him. You ain't geeked up, Law. You ain't geeked up when you saw that.
I just knew I was looking at Greg Hardy's film at the time. I was like,
oh my God,
man, Randy Greg Hardy, this finna be like the Dallas defense that I know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then
we came crashing down.
And I saw how the player he pushed him behind him. The Giants player, he pushed behind him and he rolled up on his ankle. And I said, "Oh man, come on, man! No, he finna foul that Jay." And it's just like, man, we got bottles of VSOP, you know, at the house, and you talking about you putting that in the freezer or what have you. And if you at the house long enough, you look in that freezer long enough,
you're drinking it.
You gonna pour up that drink.
You're drinking it. Don't tell me you ain't drinking. And here's the biggest thing. Me and you average. I mean, we go to work, everything. These dudes playing in the league, so you really feel like they untouchable. That's just the way it is.
And it's just crazy, man. It's things that it's a plant, and I understand that a lot of people, it's a sticky topic for a lot of people because I'm not promoting people go out and take marijuana and do drugs or what have you. Kids, stay off the weed, okay? I'm not saying that because I try to keep everything PG-13, but what I'm saying is, Mama, I love you because my mama watched this show. Mama, I love you. But I'm telling you right now that it's just one of those things where I wish the NFL was with the NBA policies and the NHL and the baseball policy. They don't test like the NFL does. And think about this collectively. If you don't put your stuff out there, then you won't get bad press. You won't get bad publicity and all this stuff. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's but you know what? It's also those unions are a lot stronger than the NFL unions. And I think that's what the biggest problem is with the NFL is that they don't have a strong union. I mean, even with the contracts and the money, you see how far back they are as far as money, even though it's a big contract in the NFL, it's small on the scales of NBA or the major leagues. Even in hockey, those contracts trump the NFL by far. And I feel like physicality in the NFL is the worst of all of those sports. But you know, that NFLPA needs to really step up, and these upcoming negotiations, and really needs to be about them players this time, and they need to really make some moves, and they really need to take a stand on what they're really trying to make, because if they don't, the owners are always going to win.
But my thing is this, and I know we about to almost trying to close it out, but my thing is this with the NFLPA. They're in bed with Roger Goodell. They got to be in bed. They have to be reading from the same hymnal, because there's no way in life the NFLPA can look at what happened with Ezekiel Elliott. And we know as Cowboys fans, we out here seeing that we don't hear nothing about the Hunt kid. We don't hear nothing about the Jarvis Landry. And what's going on with the NFLPA? Why are they not out there saying, okay, why are they not voicing their opinions, their thoughts, their mind, putting this stuff out there on the ether so that the NFL can be answering these questions? Why are they not saying, okay, why are you not doing what the right hand is? Why are you not testing what the left hand is doing? Why they're not just trying to be out there like we are? You see what I'm saying? If I'm making sense, I hope I'm making sense to you guys, you know.
You're making perfect sense. It's all about them dollars. That's what it's about, just like you said. Man, who knows? It's a crooked world, Law. You know that. Politics, everything. You don't think, if you're looking at the politics, you always see somebody in politics getting caught up. You don't think them politics is going on in the NFL. You don't think them guys is cutting deals doing. I mean, that's just what it is. These guys do those. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm not putting out there, but you don't think that those guys don't do those things and everything is, we do the right things here. Come on, man. That's a lie. You don't do all the right things there. And just like you said, how can the NFLPA not say one word when they were going hard on Zeke? Like, anytime that he went and got an approval, they were already sending the letter like, no, we're going against you again. And then just like with these last few incidents, y'all ain't said one word. Y'all ain't been in the press. Like, y'all ain't said a word. Y'all ain't said, well, what about the double standard? Well, what's going on? How come we're not investigating this or really looking into this? They ain't said a word.
It's just one of those things where I'm sitting like,
you took your 6 games, now be quiet and like it.
It's just one of those things. Man, it's just like Monopoly, you know, when you have just one like Walmart, for example, they goes into a smaller city, it just take over all of the mom and pops, and everybody like, dang, let's just vote to have Walmart not in this small city, you know. Let's just vote to not have, because Walmart is just going to dominate. It's just going to put everybody out of business, and that is what the NFL is doing. They know that everybody is the cream of the crop. They only got 17 games. They're trying to make it to like 18, 20 games, but they only got 17 weeks, 16 games that you play out of a season, and that's why they pretty much they bring in the most revenue, and they don't play their players, and nobody get guaranteed contracts. And every year, we don't know what the actual salary cap number is going to be. So they pigeonhole us, and we're sitting here thinking like, okay, we trying to do the right things, but we look at the teams like the Colts got $70 million, don't they? And we just only got $2 million. I do know that we got contracts out of the wazoo, but it's just one of those things where I'm sitting here saying, Is the salary cap really working for the NFL? Because if you think about it, the last teams to win the Super Bowl, haven't it been the same teams? You know, haven't been the same teams going in and out of the playoffs and the Super Bowls all these years?
I just don't never understand how we don't have no daggone money. And I be seeing these other teams that be having records like us, and they be spending. And I'm like, how do they still be finagling this cap? But we don't have no money. Like the last seemed like 4 or 5 years, Law, we ain't had no money. Like, we ain't be able to get nobody.
They paid Romo twice.
We restructure all the time.
Right.
We always restructure deals, which pushes the money back.
Mm-hmm.
You're kicking the can down the road, and so you wind up with a bunch of dead money and guys that aren't either able to still play at that level or, you know, something to that effect. That's just how we've managed things for so long, and that's ultimately why we never seem to have any free agency money, because we just keep restructuring guys and kicking the can down the road. And I think that's part of the problem for why I think that's the other half of the equation, not just, you know, what we know about the Brandon Carr free agency thing not really working out like we wanted for our $50 million. I think it also kind of shows we just don't give ourselves the flexibility to even be in the discussion most of the time.
Yeah, you're speaking a lot of truth on that, Darreck. Because I looked at
super truth.
Yeah, I looked at overthecap.com and I said, we still paying Miles Austin? I said, look on overthecap.com, guys, and look at the players. I'm sitting there like, we still paying paying Miles Austin, man.
We paying Romo, we paying Carroll, we paying
exactly.
To Buffalo that we cut him, the defensive tackle Cedric Thornton, we still paying him. There's a couple other players that we're still playing. And just like you said, Darreck said 100% true. We're always restructuring the contracts. It's almost like we signed the deal to almost know that we're going to restructure this deal. Like, we're signing this deal almost knowing that in a couple of years we're restructuring.
I've literally heard that point made before on like The Fan and things like that, where they say, you know, when they sign something like, oh, well, they're just going to restructure in a couple of years. I'm like, that's not the good approach. That's not good business.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just keep bringing stuff up on the credit card and think it's not going to eventually come due.
Yeah.
Man, that's one hell of a price to pay, man. It was just a good little thought, man. Just me just thinking about this cap thing altogether. But that's pretty much everything from here as far as what we have as far as this show today. Any other thoughts, any closing remarks, Big Game?
Oh, no, just forever grateful to be with Dallas Prospect. You know what I'm saying? You know how you always bring it. Love how you bring it, Law. Just all your work, Darreck. Just 100% respect and everything. And just appreciate y'all showing me some love. No
doubt, man. Plug that channel again, man. Where they can find you at, brother?
Silver and Blue Nation. Check us out every Sunday, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're on Facebook Live. We also got the Facebook page. You can also check out Big Game James. Got my own page, doing some little, some little things here and there. And then got some writings coming up with Dallas Prospect. Darreck opened the door for me right there. So, hey, just grinding out here, man.
Yes, indeed. And Darreck, talk to everybody about this Dallas Prospect.
So the website is theDallasProspect.com. We are a sports and pop culture website with an eye towards Dallas sports. That means you get your Cowboys coverage, your Mavericks, your Stars, your Rangers, all that. We even got Big 12 football and all that. We're always looking for contributors, whether you want to write, whether you want to do a podcast, or you want to do video analysis, kind of like Law does. Whatever, man. If you're interested in kind of joining this new network, we're all for it. We're listening to all people interested. So if you want to join us, help us become the biggest and best independent sports media thing in Dallas. Hey, man, welcome to the team.
Welcome
I like
to the
how
team.
he said that. He said independent, biggest and best and independent. I like how you said that, Darreck.
Yes, indeed, Darreck. You dropped the hammer on that. So yeah, hey, with that being said, do you have a contact us on the link to as well on the website?
On the
Or
website,
is it
we
a
don't have a
direct email?
contact thing.
It's a direct email. What's that
Just
email?
if you want to reach out, if you want to reach out to us, you can email us at thedallasprospect@gmail.com, or you can reach out to us on our Facebook page, The Dallas Prospect, as well. Just give us a shout there. If you got a sample piece you want to send us, that'd be great. Or if you want to send me like a link to a YouTube video, that works as well.
Oh yes, and then what's going on next month? Got to tell everybody what's going on next month.
Yep. The Dallas Prospect is doing happy hour. Join us next month, Thursday, March 22nd at Mexi-Go Restaurant Club in Plano, Texas, as we host happy hour and do a live remote and meet and greet. Tell them you're there for the Dallas Prospect and you'll receive exclusive food and drink specials with happy hour pricing for the whole night and entrees as low as $5. In attendance will be Law Nation, Big Game James, Darreck Kirby, and our special guest, Computer from 3-6 Mafia. Shirts and other merch will be available for purchase, so come out, have a drink with your favorite Dallas Prospect hosts, and don't wait. RSVP today. Let's make it happen.
Hey everybody, I really thank everybody for tuning in. That's been our time, guys, and you already know you are listening to nothing but the best. Salute. We out. Peace.